So after completing almost every single heist in loud solo overkill, I've been asked a few times in the comment sections what perks, or rather skills, I have been using for these videos. And so in this video, I kind of wanted to show you what my ideal loud build looks like, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So first of all, I must mention solo loud overkill is definitely not intended to be doable. You can kind of pretty clearly see that by the way the maps are developed. The best example I can come up with is Rock the Cradle, where Rock the Cradle, when you go loud, you're essentially asked to set up a cage upstairs, and then you have to go downstairs to steal all the money and cocaine and shit like that, and then you have to bring it back upstairs and dump all of your bags into this cage. But the issue is the police actually goes and steals this money. So really, you're meant to be playing with a group of people who have a brain and are not AI bots, and they can actually stay upstairs and protect the bags while the rest of the team is running downstairs and hauling ass with all of the different loot. However, since you're playing with AI and we're talking about solo here, the police just kind of comes in and just grabs all of the money off the cage and just takes it away, and the AI just kind of follows you around. So while you're downstairs doing objectives, the police is grabbing the bags upstairs because your AI friends, you know, you can't tell them what to do. You can't ask them to stay and protect the bags or anything like that, since Payday 3 doesn't provide us with that. So either way, solo or not, I'm going to go ahead and show you a build that works extremely well in overkill. And you can do this, of course, online with friends or solo, whatever you decide to do. So with this build, we'll be focusing on being very tanky, as well as being able to one-hit any cop. I mean, with the exception, of course, of the dozer, you can pretty much one-hit any other cop, specials or not. You can one-hit them all, except, again, for the dozers. So the build has two different variants. It has the sharpshooter variant and it has the gunslinger variant. I recommend the gunslinger. I genuinely believe the gunslinger skill tree is a much stronger choice to the sharpshooter. You see, personally, I'm somebody who prefers to ADS other than hipfire. I am not a hipfire guy whatsoever, but for Payday 3, it is very clear that gunslinger is just the superior path. First of all, in terms of gaining edge, which both of these builds rely on, for the sharpshooter it's a bit harder. For you to gain edge, a secure way for you to gain edge is by standing still for 1.5 seconds while ADSing or scoping so that you can gain edge. Whereas for the gunslinger, it's as easy as switching weapons. You just switch weapons and boom, there goes the edge. Now, why do you care so much about the edge? Okay, first of all, it gives 10% extra damage. That's great. But the thing is, with edge, we throw in some of these skill points from Mower here, where we can combine two different sets of skills. First of all is ammo funnel, which as long as you have add edge, ammo you pick up is directly added to your equipped weapons magazine, which can pretty much allow us to have infinite ammo, as you see in the gameplay, as long as you're going around getting headshots, which again, with gunslinger being ace, performing headshots with your weapon in hipfire will refresh any edge you have. So that means with gunslinger, you have an uptime of edge throughout the entire game. And anytime you run out of edge, for whatever reason, you're just not in combat or you're not hitting headshots, all you have to do is switch weapons and then switch back to your primary and you have edge again. And now you just have to worry about headshotting. So ammo funnel happens all the time. Every time you kill somebody with edge, you get ammo back onto your weapons magazine. Well, here's the thing. You combine that with replenish, which as long as you have edge, you automatically pick up ammo dropped by enemies you have killed. So what this means is your enemy can be 20 meters away. It doesn't matter. When he drops ammo, you pick up, even if you're really far away, which means that once you kill somebody with edge, you pick up their ammo across the map, and that goes directly into your weapons magazine. which means you pretty much have infinite ammo. So you can combine this with, for example, shotguns and just abuse the hell out of it. You can just use that with the Scar, or any weapon you use. You pretty much have infinite ammo, as long as, of course, you're not spraying and praying. If you're spraying and praying, then you'll be consuming more ammo than you're getting back. So in terms of priority, I would recommend you see, I have 19 skill points. This goes up to 21 or 22. If you have low amount of points, what I would recommend you do is you start off with Gunslinger, specifically these two right here, Gunslinger Basic and Aced. That's 2 points, and the third point going on from the hip, because this will help you with your hip fire spread a lot, especially if you're using an automatic weapon. This is quite useful, so you don't completely lose control of your hip fire. After doing that, what I would recommend you do, especially as you're playing Overkill, is to go onto Tank. You see, Tank allows you to regenerate your armor chunks, as well as gives your armor bags 2 additional charges, which in my opinion, when you're playing Overkill, that should be your bag of choice, is the armor bag, not the medic bag, not the ammo bag, especially when you have these ones here from Mower. Then you definitely don't need ammo. Ammo is no longer an issue. And you should definitely ace it as well to gain that constant grit. Now, Tank is also extremely important because of armor up, as it's going to give us a lot of extra armor when you're looting from the armor bags, as well as last man standing, which pretty much when you get downed, you instead just consume your grit. You actually become immune for 10 seconds. And this bails you out of a lot of different situations. Now, this may not be necessary when you're playing online, because you can actually rely on your teammates, but in solo, I find this to be quite important. I really enjoyed the Tank route to, kind of give you that balance, strike that balance between doing a lot of damage and being really tanky. So I would recommend doing this tree as well. Now, Tank also combines very, very well with Plate Up, which comes from Ammo Specialist, which as long as you have grit, ammo drops will instantly regenerate your current armor's chunk. And this is going to help you maintain that armor topped off throughout the fights. If you don't have the combination of Tank and Plate Up, what's going to happen is you're going to be running out of armor much more often. However, if you get the Tank, at least the basic Tank, or rather basic and aced Tank, and you combine it with Plate Up, this is going to make you a lot tankier, and as long as you're killing your enemies, your armor is constantly being regenerated as well. So I recommend you use these two. What's also extremely important is, of course, the constant ammo replenishment that we've talked about, and that comes from Mower. Every 35 bullets you shoot, you gain edge, which, it's not necessary, but hey, this helps you gain edge in case you're not gaining it any other way. As long as you have edge, your weapon recoil is reduced. This is going to help us a little bit maintain that control. And of course, like we talked about, ammo funnel and replenish are very important. Also, back to the ammo specialist here, Scrounger is pretty decent because the ammo drops that you're gaining from replenish and ammo funnel is going to be giving you back those grenades, and it's going to allow you to constantly be throwing out, flashbangs or smoke grenades or regular grenades, whatever it is that you opted into. Now, another good set of damage, another thing that I would definitely recommend, and this allows us to one-hit pretty much everybody, is to get the cutting shot skill. As long as you have edge, your armor penetration is increased. This allows us to one-shot no matter what kind of armor the cops, in the later waves, they get really armored up, but it does not matter. With cutting shot, we're gonna be able to one-hit them as long as we're using a weapon that can one-hit them. I would recommend you go for this as soon as you can as well. And then for a little bit of extra damage, what I like to do is I throw in the Enforcer, of course the basic Enforcer. as well as face to face, which is going to increase our damage to people that are near us when we have edge and grit, which honestly it's almost the entire time. So that's pretty much it in terms of skill points. I would recommend you start with Gunslinger first. I would do this skill tree first, at least this and this, and then I'd go into tank and do tank second, and then I would go into ammo specialist and at least just put in 1 point here to get played up, and this is gonna make you really tanky and do a lot of damage. After this, I would recommend you do mower next for the infinite ammo, and once you do mower, now you do a lot of damage, you are really tanky, and now you have infinite ammo. Then I'd recommend you do sharpshooter to get that armor penetration increase to allow you to one hit no matter what enemy you're going up against, once again, exception being the bulldozer. And then lastly, I'd recommend you go into the enforcer. This is useful, but it's not necessary. With the remaining skill points, I would probably put in disengage and a little bit more into enforcer. Now in terms of loadout, starting out with the primary weapon, we have two choices here that are extremely powerful. First being the SA-A-144. This weapon is the weapon that you saw in the gameplay there in the background quite a lot. This weapon one hits, you know, extremely easy. I think you might not even need the cutting shot skill point to be one hitting people because this hits really, really hard. It's an extremely powerful weapon. The second best weapon, possibly the best weapon in the game, as long as you have cutting shot, is the Scar, also known as in this game VF7S. This weapon can also one hit with ease. I've tried all of the other weapons, most of them can't one hit with as much consistency as the Scar. You know, it's not, you know, the combination of its accuracy and everything, it just makes it one of the best weapons in the game, the Scar and the SA-A-144. For the secondary, there are two different weapons that you can opt in for that one-shot build. It's either the Castigo 44, which is this and this. This is just a preset. This is able to one-shot anybody, and the Sforza Bison as well. These two are the best weapons when it comes to one-hitting everybody on overkill. I would recommend you take one of these two. I always go with the Castigo 44, but the Bison is very good as well. As far as armor lining goes, I'd recommend heavy ballistic lining. This only gives you 2 downs rather than 3 or 4 depending on the armor you're using. But when you're playing overkill, you're not aiming to go down anyways. So you want to be using the heavy ballistic lining so you go down the least amount possible. As well as when you combine this with the tank perks skills, you know, it makes you a lot tankier and you'll constantly recover this armor. Yeah, I would just recommend you use the heavy one. For the overkill weapon, I almost always recommend the Het 5 Red Fox because the only issue we have when it comes to killing is the bulldozer, and the Het 5 Red Fox is a bulldozer melting machine. We use this strictly to kill bulldozers. We may use it every now and then for other reasons, but you pretty much save this weapon to kill bulldozers. The Mark on Mamba is not that good. I mean, you're kind of going around one-hitting everybody anyway, so you're not really concerned with a mass-killing weapon like this. As far as Throwables, you can kind of use anything of your choice. I recommend Flashbang. Flashbang allows you to bail yourself out of a lot of trouble, and the frag grenades are risky. They're risky. They can kill you, they can kill civilians. I don't recommend it. And the smoke grenade seems fairly useless in this game. The AI can just shoot you right through it. Anyway, for loud, I recommend either the infrasonic mine, as it's one of the only thing that works in loud. You place it on the floor, and when you activate it, you can actually stun your enemies. You know, it kind of works like a flashbang in that sense. It's quite powerful. I would recommend you use this. But you can also kind of use the motion sensor. It can have some use, but you're better off with the infrasonic mine. And last but not least is the deployable, of course. I only recommend armor bag. You constantly only want to care about your armor. If you're having to worry about your health, then you're too late. It's too late. You're gonna get killed. You know, you really shouldn't have to worry about your health whatsoever. I'd recommend only worrying about your armor. Again, if you get to a point where you're having to heal your character, you're likely too late. And also, most importantly as well, health is found around the maps. You know, in bathrooms and other places, you can actually find health. And if you're actually really low on health, the AI, assuming you're playing solo, they will drop medic bags for you and you can top yourself off. But other than that, yeah, I do not recommend using medic bags. Ammo bags is irrelevant. You have infinite ammo with this build. Sentry turret would be good if we needed more damage, but the thing is, we don't need more damage. We're one-hitting everybody. You know, it only kind of comes down to doing the objectives and staying alive long enough to do the objectives, which is why we opt in for the armor bag. And that's pretty much it for my loud build. This is what I use. Hope you guys try this build and enjoy it for yourselves. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.